Hi, I'm Gavin, and welcome back to the S.O.U.N.D Project. So I'm here today at Grand Rapids First in Studio 33.3 with Drew McElhenney. Thanks so much for joining us.
It's great to have you guys here.
Yeah, man. So let's talk a little bit about your background first. Like, how did you get into music?
Yeah, so, I've been passionate about music my whole life, and grew up in a musical home, and but music was such a big part of it. But really, felt a strong calling towards ministry. Felt called to ministry, and so naturally, worship music and Christian music was definitely a really big passion of mine. And so I had a worship band that I started, and we would record music, and just a bunch of buddies. We'd get together, and we traveled around and did youth camps and church services. And
what age were you at that time?
I was, I think, about 17 when I did that. And so from there, I ended up coming actually here to Grand Rapids First, but not as a pastor at that point. I came doing I was the youth worship director. And it was at that point that I met Sarah Reifkokel, who was the impetus for the studio. And so, and she was a part of that worship team that I led. And so that's kind of where I first got to know her from that end. But that was a big growing season of my life, being here, getting to lead teams and doing it every week. And so from there, a while later, I became a worship pastor over on the east side of the state of Michigan. And while I was there, put together an album. And same thing, it was Sarah was somebody that I was comfortable with in the past. That I said, Sarah, would you be willing to come record on this album and be a part of this live worship project? And she, at that point, actually was at college. And so, but she came out and was a part of that recording project. And then after that time of being on the east side of the state, eventually would come to Grand Rapids First. Pastor Sam gave me a call and asked if I would come be here at the church. Nice. And I've been here now for 11 years. And so, it's that's kind of a snapshot of my musical journey along the way. So specific even to worship and all that. So,
nice. I know you play both guitar and keyboards. Like, do you do anything else?
Guitar, keys, drums, bass. Just a little bit of everything. But I would say my main go-to instrument is guitar and keys. So those are my go-tos. So obviously we're sitting in this amazing studio you guys have now, and how much, as you're like 17, like doing things with that band, did you spend a lot of time in studios, or like did you get the bug of like trying to record a lot of things? So I remember, I think I was probably in like 8th grade. My dad, who was actually a worship pastor at that time, he had a DAW that he set me up with and a keyboard, and I just remember going at it. And then I had a buddy of mine that eventually we had in his basement. There's studio set up that we had a little drum room in there, and we would just go weekend after weekend, just recording late into the night, and we loved it. And so really my introduction to studio stuff was just sitting in a home basement, with plugins and all this, gear that is your standard go-to pieces of gear, but getting to use them in plug-in formats, and then eventually to be here today to be able to use those real pieces. It's a dream. It's just amazing.
It's awesome.
It's amazing.
So you've been in the studio for a little while. Like, I know that you released a single, a new song. And how was that process, like using the studio for that?
Boy, it was great. Obviously having the quality of everything here is wonderful. Having the quality, but even just the efficiency. Everything's just ready to go. We have a project studio that we have here at the church that we used for years and did an album on that. But there was a lot of components in there that it was a lot of setup, tear down, but to have everything just ready to go like that, I mean, that really allows you to get stuff done efficiently and quick at that high quality.
Right.
And so doing that was just it was a really special project. That was a project that Sarah had started recording or started writing a song. And to be able to finish that. And that was really the first project that we fully recorded and mixed out of the studio.
Sounds amazing. Like I've been listening to the song quite a bit, and yeah, it's really, really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, it was very exciting to make that the first project out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you started off on the journey of we're going to build this studio, did you think it was going to be as involved as it was?
Oh my goodness. No, I had no idea, Gavin, what I was getting into. Yeah. I remember after Sarah passed away, went home to be with Jesus, I remember Pastor Sam gave me a call, and Pastor Sam, Pastor Brenda, and they said, hey, this foundation that was started in Sarah's name, they said, we'd like to see that be used. What do you think to create a recording studio? And I went, oh my goodness, that'd be amazing. And as I kept talking to Pastor Sam, I realized that he's not just talking about any studio. He wants it to be state of the art. Yeah. And which was that was a lot to take in. And so I was like, wow. And so I went, Pastor, there's a lot of things that right out of the gate that I think, hey, we can start heading these directions and do this. But I knew that there was a big component of this that I thought if we're going to get to a certain level, we're going to need to get the right people around the table. And Gavin, I'll tell you, that's probably one of the biggest things I took away from this project is coming into it, we just had to have all the right people around the table.
Yeah.
I could have sat there and tried to do it myself and we wouldn't have gotten halfway to where we are today. But it was all the right people. And you being such a key person in that, James Good, from Vintage King, I reached out to him, and we had done some things with them in the past, and he was so helpful in getting us from start to finish with all the gear and everything that we needed, and even the commissioning of the console, all those pieces. But he set up that phone call with you, and he said, hey, he goes, I think I got the right guy for the project. And boy, I mean, it's just so true. You were just the right guy for this project. And we felt that from the beginning, and we felt that all the way through and even after the fact.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. It was definitely getting that call, I mean, from the first kind of Zoom meeting that we had, I just was like, we have to do this project. Like, I really just felt so called to what you guys were doing. And I was like, whatever we have to do, we need to work on this one, And so I was so happy when you guys chose us to do this, and it's a long process, and it's like for us, it's like you really want to enjoy like the people that you're doing something like this with, And so like that's always been everybody up here, We talk about it in the office sometimes. Like, I wish we just moved Grand Rapids first to Carmel, Indiana, and that would be amazing. So. But yeah, I mean, I remember coming up here the first time and sitting in that conference room and just kind of dreaming up like what the vision of this space was, and seeing this as it originally was just a science lab.
Yeah, I think we're sitting in the middle of the science lab right now. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it's still a science lab. It's just for audio. And
that's right. Yeah, it's still a science lab. That's right.
But yeah, it's to see it come from that to what it is now. When you walk into this space, you're blown away. It took a lot of doing to get here, obviously.
Sure
and for you in particular, like, I will say without, any hesitation, you worked harder than we did on this. Like you had to project manage and like get everybody together and kind of live this out for 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 2 years and 9 months it took. And we were looking back, and it's just crazy to think. I remember it was, it'd be 3 years now, because I think it was in February-ish, somewhere in there. And we're in March now, but February, I think, when that original call happened. And so, and it took a lot of steps along the way. You were a huge step in, obviously figuring out, well, what are we looking to get out of a studio? And that's one thing, Gavin, I really appreciated in the process and how you do things, is you really wanted to make sure that what are you guys trying to get to, and how can I help you guys get there, rather than, hey, here's my thing and come fit into my thing. And that's what's so cool about what you do is, and I look at all the projects and things that I've seen that you've done, and each one has its own personality.
Yeah.
And it's cool because my understanding is it's not your personality, it's their personality, and you've joined with them. And
exactly.
and we just felt that. I know as I worked with Pastor Sam and Pastor Brenda and worked with you, we were able to get that project to where they wanted it to be, where we all felt we needed from a gear or a facility standpoint, all those pieces, and you really helped us figure those things out.
I appreciate that. It's for me, it's we're not designing studios for ourselves. It's like, while we're very invested in the end result, it's more so, it's like, can we step out of the way and allow your vision to, flourish? Because, it's something where this space is so special, and there's with Sarah's story and everything that happened in that journey, we just wanted it to be perfect, and the only way it was going to be perfect is if it was what you guys wanted, and so
it was.
And so it was just so much fun to kind of go through the process, and some of the parts aren't that much fun, like getting permits and doing those things.
It took a while.
But I remember just it evolving over time, because originally, like, we only had like the space where the lobby is.
Yes.
That was not part of the project.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
So we did early designs and just kind of like, I think we probably got to 6 or 7 different designs before we ended up getting to the final one. But it's like, for us, it's got to be right. So it's like we weren't going to stop until it felt good. So
well, and you did that, because I remember. We went back and forth on things, and we said, well, hey, we like this part, but do you think there's something we can do here? And you would just go back to the drawing board and rework it. And then I know I gave you that call. I said, Gavin, I said, I'm so sorry. I said, we got a whole nother space, but we think that this could be really helpful. And I think it really was. I think it was what we needed.
That was one of my favorite calls, besides when you said it was done. But like,
for sure.
One of my favorite calls was when you said, we've got some extra space. I'm really sorry. I was like, please don't apologize, because that's what I've been wanting for a while. Yes. So when we were able to, I think that's when the design really came together. It's just like, okay, we can get the lobby and everything else outside of here, all this space be studio, because we were kind of trying to fit these rooms that we want to be large in a smaller space. And so, that was a big step. What is the goal for the studio in general now that it's finished? Like, what's the vision in how you're going to use it?
Yeah. So our next big steps is we want to, being housed here in a church, and obviously Sarah's desire was the next generation to know him and worship him. And so our desire is that Christian music would come out of here in all different forms. And 2, we've even talked about specifically finding ways. We know there's a lot of churches out there that have music that they're writing, music that they're doing, but even how do you get across the finish line, taking a song from start to actually getting it done and completed. And I tell you, we got an amazing team of people that are a part of the studio and help staff the studio that are just fit. One of the guys, he was so instrumental in a lot of the installation and planning for the studio. But our technical director, Corden Tuttle, he's the operations director for the studio, but he has an understanding of the worship music world and an understanding of the church world of things. And so being able to connect that, or Dane Casperson, who he is our client relations director. And so being able to work with somebody who right now for the church is the worship arts director. And so he lives and breathes this stuff. And so to be able to interact and work with people in that realm, that's our desire, is to be able to help get that music out there and be able to do it in a way that's affordable too. Because obviously having a lot of nice gear, it costs a lot of money to do that, and to rent that space, it costs a lot. And we want to be able to help perpetuate that music and get that music out there more. And so that's the desire, to see that happen.
Yeah. Have you been contacted by a lot of people that want to use the studio once they find out about it, or is it kind of in the infancy stage of that?
Yeah. So what we said initially, so we opened back in November of 2024, and we said, hey, well, first off, we have a lot of things that we have our group here at the church, Wind and Embers, and the music from our church. And we said, hey, we got some projects that we want to do and get done. And we're also the guinea pigs here.
Yeah, right.
We get a chance to make sure that we understand how everything's working, the processes and ways things function in the studio. And then what we did initially, though, is we had several people reaching out. And so we're starting conversations, and even there's a couple on the horizon that could be a great fit as we just start into stuff. So here in the spring, we're hoping to start incorporating those things. But yeah, we are using it all the time. Yeah. One thing we get to use it for every single Sunday, we do our whole broadcast mix.
Oh, you do that from here?
Yeah, so we bring everything in from our worship center into the console, and we're able to actually able to mix everything from this room. And we got a big production coming up, and we put surround sound in the worship center for that. And so the Atmos part of this room, we're getting to use it for all of that. So
yeah, I remember when we were here for the grand opening celebration, like one thing that struck me was like watching people come in here and just see the space, like people from the church and people from the community. And in particular, there's a lot of like children walking in and just being like, I even talked to one guy who his daughter's a singer, and he was like, yeah, she looked up to Sarah, and like I just, I want her to be able to record in the studio at some point. And it's just like that to me, like the ripple effect of everything that this is going to offer people here and outside of these walls is really special to me. Now you have kids. Are they musical as well?
I do. I have kids, and just this morning, my daughter, she just got a recorder for nice. She's 9 years old. She had a recorder at home, and she just got it, but she's sitting there going, I want to play Happy Birthday for my cousin for her birthday. Nice. And so she's sitting there learning it. So I think they do. I think they love music, and we play piano at home, and they love being even a part of the worship stuff they do in the kids area as well. So yeah, it's definitely something that I think is a part of our immediate family too. So.
Yeah, it's neat to see. I'm trying not to push it on my kids. They're in piano lessons right now, but it's something I want them to find the joy of that themselves, because I mean, I grew up playing music, and I love that. And if we could have a little band at some point, that would be amazing.
You know it.
As long as that's what they want to do.
I hear that. I hear that. I feel the same way. I feel the same way.
So I guess, when I know you have plans for bringing bands in here and things like that, it's in the church itself, like what's people's reaction when they come into this space like that? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people that day of the grand opening is the first time they ever saw it,
It is. Yeah. You see the renderings, and even you see the pictures of it, and it really doesn't do it justice.
Right.
It's you walk in here, and I think the biggest reaction that we had is, our church was just so on board with this project, and a lot of people really invested a lot into this studio to make it possible, and those people were so excited. But when they came in, they were blown away, and they just, they went, well, I knew it was going to be, a studio. I'm sure it was going to be really nice, but I didn't realize it'd be this.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's the reaction every time. And so, and for us to hear that, it brings us so much joy.
Oh, for sure.
That was our desires. We really did. I mean, we wanted this to not just be any studio, but we did. We wanted it to be state of the art.
Yeah, and that commitment to that vision, like, this project took a long time, and there could be a tendency to be like, oh, let's cut this corner, or let's just speed this up, or whatever. And I just think it was amazing that you guys stuck to it, and you just all the hard work that went into this to make it what it is, because this just doesn't happen. Like this type of thing, like all the people that are involved with it, contractors, electricians, HVAC companies, the design work, your project management, Pastor Sam and Pastor Brenda's vision for it as well. Man, there's so much that went into it, and it shows, like it's something where when you walk into this place, it's like care was taken with this place.
I was blown away. You talk about all the details, and you talk about all the contractors, because boy, there's a lot of contractors it took to make all this happen. But one thing that you were so helpful with, Gavin, is, there were a lot of details that in the wall design, or even electrical, HVAC, you name it. All of those things required a different attention to detail. For a couple of reasons. One, because it's a commercial space and there's certain codes that we have to meet on this side of things, but then there's certain things on a sound end that those requirements need to be met. And so I know you came alongside us, a lot of meetings, helping us figure out between us and the contractor, what do we need to do to get this to land where it needs to? Well, hey, the contractor said, you know, they can't do this way. Well, hey, can they do it this way? Oh yeah, they can do this. And so there was a lot of that back and forth. And I'm grateful, Tommy Gallant, who is our facilities director here at the church, he was so helpful in really, because, you know, we handled it. We were the general contractor on this project, and he was the voice that could translate something that I would say into something that made sense to those contractors. And so it took all the right people, but even all those details, you kind of taking us along the journey, because it was a slow process, but you walked that whole process with us, because boy, I think it would have been a lot slower, and I think it would have gotten to points where you go, well, I don't know what else we do here. I think we just need to move on and call it is what it is. But I know Pastor's heart in all this is, well, hey, let's not speed up. Let's just do it right. But you helped us to do that all along the way, which was amazing. So
well, it was an honor to do that, and I just appreciate everything that you guys did. Always a joy to work with, and if I get, you know, I think that something special happened here, and I can say that we were a small part of it, but we were just happy that we were a part of it. So I appreciate you involving us, and I'm just so excited too to see what comes out of here. You know, it feels like it's just getting started, even though it was a process getting it opened. But now that it's open and people start to find out about this place, it's going to be special. It
is, and I think about, you know, so you know, when I came here as a pastor on staff, Sarah was at college, and I ended up reaching out to her because we needed another worship leader, and just felt like she was a perfect fit for that, and reached out, and she came. And I remember we recorded and we wrote and recorded an album here at the church. And I think about, though, all those experiences that we had recording doing that, and I think of Sarah, and I think about how much she would have just loved this place. She just would have loved this place. But as you mentioned, even more so, the stuff that's going to come out of here. We really do. We believe that God helped orchestrate all these different pieces, and if He's the one orchestrating all of it, I really do believe some amazing days are in store. I know it. Well, Drew, thanks so much for joining the podcast, and yes, thanks for having me. Just being a great friend over the years, and I'm excited for you. Yeah, we really appreciate you. That's been another episode of the Sound Project. Thanks for being a part of it. I'm curious if you have an artist that you think should record at Studio 33.3. Comment that below, and we'll see you next week.